Happy New Year guys, and thanks for coming to this video. So here we have four lenses we're looking at. We've got the Sigma Contemporary 150 to 600. We've got the Canon 100 to 400 Mark II with the 1.4 Mark III EF extender. The RF 600 and the RF 800. And as promised, we're going to look at image quality on the RF 600 and 800 lenses in particular. And I just want to show you some samples. It's up to you to make your own mind up. I'm not here to tell you which lens to go for, but I just want it to be informative and help you decide, is the sharpness good enough for you? The RF lenses are fine for video work. You don't need a huge amount of detail in your pictures for video work in general. Standard definition is only about 2 megapixels, 4K is around 4 to 6 megapixels, and 8K is only around 8 megapixels. So you don't need huge megapixels to do video work. However, if you're a still shooter, you may be concerned about the fact that the RF lenses might not be sharp enough for you, and that's why I've done this video. My opinion is subjective. Some people may agree with it or disagree with it, but I just feel that there's some sort of ghosting artifacts going off in the RF 600 and 800 lenses that mean they're not really sharp enough for me anyway. Have a look at the studio images and I hope it informs you on the quality of these RF lenses. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye. Welcome to the studio guys. Here I have a new video for you. This video is to assess image quality on these four lenses. So we've got the Sigma 150 to 600, the Canon 100 to 400 Mark II L EF lens with the 1.4 Mark III EF extender, the RF 600 and the RF 800 lens. We've got two lens sharpness tests cards here to have a look at. So without further ado, let's just have a look at them to start off with. So that's the Sigma Canon 100 to 400, the RF 600, which does seem to be some sort of ghosting going off, which seems to make it a bit softer, and the RF 800. RF 800 just seems a tiny bit softer. I did notice that Chelsea Northrup did mention and say the 800 was slightly sharper than the 600. I think it's the other way around. I think the 600 is a tiny bit better than the 800, but not by much. So without further ado, let's go back to the Sigma and zoom in there at 100%. So you can see the sharpness, which seems to be good detail, and I do think it is rendering, you know, the numbers quite well, and I do think it's quite sharp. Now the 100 to 400 Mark II-L, have a look at 100% there. Again, rendering good detail. You can even see the detail in the paper, so it's good. Let's have a look at the RF 600. Zoomed in to 100%. There, you can see the quality. Make your own mind up. You know, these examples are for you to make your own mind up. You know, I'm not here to try and convince you what's good or bad, but in my opinion, I just don't think it's very sharp, the RF 600. So let's have a look at the 800. So 100%, that's the quality we're getting from the 800. Again, it just seems a tad bit worse than the 600 if I'm honest with you. Viewing this at 100%, we're on the EOS R6 20 megapixel camera, using a smartphone to trigger the camera to take a picture. So we've got no camera shake, no possibility of camera shake here guys. So don't be saying to me, oh, you must have touched the camera and you know you got some camera shake there. I haven't. All stabilizations were turned off, and I just use a remote trigger on my phone to get the sharpest image possible. All images are ISO 400, apart from some of the later ones that were ISO 800, but that shouldn't really affect this test. Anyway, let's go back to the Sigma. at 600mm. There you go, that's the quality. That's the 100 to 400 Mark II equivalent to 560mm. Trying to bring the camera a bit closer so it is equivalent to the Sigma. The RF 600mm. There you go, that's the quality we're getting. And then the 800mm, and that's the quality we're getting from that. Not a good showing from the RF lenses in my opinion. Anyway, let's go back and have a look at the corners this time. So, you know, I want to have a look at the corners in all these images, so let's just bear with me while I get it to the left bottom corner for all 4 lenses so you can see the quality. So first of all, the Sigma looks good, looks nice and sharp, and I don't have any concerns with that. So I'll look at the 100 to 400 Canon lens. Again, it seems not quite as tack sharp as the Sigma lens, but it's not far off. So I'll look at the RF 600. As you can see, it just looks a bit more blurred out. So there you go, that's the example of the RF 600. Let's have a look at the RF 800 now. And again, if I'm honest with you, it does seem to be a little bit more blurred than the 600 is. So just for the video, for you guys on YouTube, because it might not be that obvious in terms of showing the quality of these 4 lenses, I'm going to zoom in at 200% so you can actually see it. You may be on a smartphone and it might not be obvious. So let's just zoom in at 200%. We're going to focus our attention on number 18. So that's 200%. There you go, on the Sigma 150 to 600. Let's have a look at the Canon EF 100 to 400. And that's at 200%. Looks half decent. So have a look at the RF 600 at 200%. If you look at the 18, it doesn't look that clear. Let's have a look at the 800 RF. Zoom in at 200%, and there you go. It looks a tad bit worse in my opinion. So let's go back to the Sigma at 600mm. Look at the Canon at 560, with the 1.4. They're very similar. As you can see, there's very little difference there from the Sigma and the Canon. So make your mind up there which you think is better. The RF 600 next. As you can see, it's far worse in my opinion. So let's have a look at the RF 800 now. And there you go, that's your differences there. So let's move on to the second test chart I've got. So here's the Sigma. I want to zoom into this area where the rings are so you can see the sharpness. There is a pattern in this ring, and I want to zoom in there at 200%. Do the same for the Canon 100 to 400 Mark II. Just seems not quite as sharp as the Sigma. Let's zoom in there on the RF 600 at 200%. And I'll have a look at the RF 800 at 200% as well. So let's start again on the Sigma at 200%. Out of the 4, you can clearly see that looks the best. Let's have a look at the Canon with the 1.4 extender. It just seemed a bit more blurred than the Sigma. This is why I said the Sigma lens seems sharper. There are other benefits of the other Canon lenses over the Sigma. Noticeably, the image stabilization is better on the Canon lenses. But as you can see, with the 1.4, it probably does affect image quality slightly here. I suspect if you take the extender off and brought the lens closer, it would jump back up there as just as good as the Sigma, if not better. So have a look at the RF 600 now, because I want to show you the examples. Again, You know, some people have been criticising me saying I don't know what I'm talking about. These lenses are great for taking imagery. You know, I want to test the sharpness. You know, so a lens can be sharp enough, but might not be tack sharp. You just got to remember that. So this is the RF 600 at 200%. This is at 800mm on the RF 800. And as you can see, it just seems a bit more blurred out. So let's do this in quick succession so you can see the difference. So let's just go back to the Sigma. The EF 100 to 400 next. The RF 600 next. And then the RF 800. So, again, make up your own mind, guys, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not here to tell you which you think is best. That's up to you, my audience, to make your own mind up. Personally, I would probably stick with the 100 to 400 with the 1.4 extender and not buy the RF lenses, if I'm honest with you. When it comes to video, the RF lenses shoots right back up there above the other two because the stabilisation is far better. And they're lighter and easier to carry around. You know, for video work, they're certainly are fantastic. But you don't need the high resolution for video. You know, standard definition is only about 2 megapixel. 4K is about 4 to 6 megapixels. 8K obviously is only 8 megapixels. You know, you don't need a lot of megapixels for video work. But for images, if you're doing stock photography or you're doing high quality, high resolution work, you want good, expensive, sharp lenses such as the 500 and 600 f4 lenses. They can resolve the detail that you need. Unfortunately, I just don't think these RF lenses can do that. Anyway, I hope this was helpful in seeing the samples. But again, I'll just show you it again here. The Sigma 150 to 600 there, 200%. Canon at 560mm, the Mark II EF lens. The RF 600 and the RF 800. So I hope these samples helped you decide which you think is the better lens, and you know, make your own mind up, and I hope you get the best out of your photography. Thank you. Bye bye.